We are continuing our study of Lashon Harah, of how to speak positively about one another and not speak negatively. And we're finishing up today the introduction. So we learned all of the positive commandments and all of the negative commandments that are associated with speaking Lashon Harah. And now we are going to study the curses in the Torah. The Torah actually curses a person in certain situations when he speaks Lashon Harah. So let's read that. Levad kol alabim va'asin anal over al ar makere ehu b'seiser shehu koy al Lashon Harah. The Torah says, "Cursed is somebody who hits his friend in private." And the rabbis explain that it doesn't just mean hitting, but it's talking about Lashon Harah. So the Torah gives a curse. Curse is somebody who speaks negatively about his friend in private. So in addition to violating the positive and negative commandments, the 17 negative commandments and 14 positive commandments that we've mentioned earlier, one also violates, gets cursed by the Torah for speaking Lashon Harah. That's the first curse. The second curse, Beis. Someone who makes someone go the wrong way, he misleads him on the way. It's known that the meaning of this verse, someone who misguides somebody else, he puts a stumbling block in front of him, he is included in this curse. There is a prohibition in the Torah to not put a stumbling block in front of a blind man. So somebody who does this puts a stumbling block in front of a blind man. Someone who speaks Lashon Harah does this. And because when someone speaks Lashon Harah, we explained that in addition to speaking evil, he is also helping his friend do a sin, because not only is there a sin for someone who speaks Lashon Harah, but there is also a sin for somebody who listens to the evil speech. So when someone who listens, there's a lav of lifnei iver. One violates, he's helping his friend sin because he's only speaking the Lashon Harah because there's someone there to listen. So somebody who participates in Lashon Harah usually violates this prohibition of misleading somebody else, which means helping somebody to sin. And somebody who helps somebody else to sin violates this prohibition of lifnei iver, and also is included in this curse of cursed is someone who misleads his friend. That was the second curse. The third curse. Let's say somebody doesn't only speak Lashon Harah, but it's hefker b'ayah, meaning he doesn't even try to not speak Lashon Harah, he just does whatever he wants. He speaks evil about others whenever he feels like it. He doesn't even try to be careful with it. He violates a third curse. The Torah says, "Cursed is someone who does not uphold the words of the Torah, this Torah. To do them." What does this mean? Someone doesn't accept upon himself to fulfill the entire Torah. He's called a mummer, somebody who violates one sin and doesn't even try to not violate it. He just, whenever he feels like it, speaks Lashon Harah, and he violates this very serious sin whenever he feels like it. And his sin is too great to carry. There's a big difference between somebody who says, the Torah has a lot of laws, and I'm not able to fulfill all of the laws, but I'm going to try my best. I'm going to do everything I can and try my best, and I recognize right now that I might not be fulfilling all of the laws the way I should be, but I'm going to try my best to do it. Versus a person who says, this is too hard, I'm not even going to try. Someone who says that, I speak Lashon Harah and I just don't even care about it because it's hard to do, so I'm not even going to try. That is so much worse than a person who speaks Lashon Harah but says, it's very hard to not speak negatively about people, but I'm going to try my best. I'm not going to do it when it's easy, or maybe I'll pick an hour or a day where I won't speak Lashon Harah. The person who tries and he makes an effort to fulfill what the Torah says is so much better, is non-comparable to a person who just says, it's too difficult, I'm not even going to try. The person who says, I'm not even going to try, I don't even care, is cursed by the Torah, versus a person who makes an effort to get close to Hashem and at least tries his best. He recognizes that he's not at the level to fulfill everything right now, but he's trying his best, infinitely better than someone who doesn't even try. And with that, we finish the 3 curses. So we have these 3 curses that come about for someone who speaks Lashon Hara. So far we've had a person speaks Lashon Hara, he could be violating 17 negative commandments, he could be violating 14 positive commandments, and he could be being cursed by the Torah in 3 separate curses. Now the Chavetz Chaim continues to conclude his introduction. V'im chas v'shalom halashon hara hayal aviv v'imo over odal ara reviv who ara makla aviv v'imo. Another curse. Someone who speaks evil about his parents, the Torah says, cursed is someone who denigrates his parents. Like we said earlier in positive commandment number 10. Okay. We know the Gemara in Shavuos, the Arabo Klala. Now, what does it mean, curse? We keep saying that the Torah curses somebody who speaks evil about somebody else. What does it mean that he cursed? What is a curse when the Torah gives a curse? The Arabo Klala. It means a curse. Bon nidoi. He's cursed with excommunication. L'chein called ish shiadua ba'atzmo shelo nizer me'avon chamor hazeh. He's going to explain. Someone who knows that he's not careful to guard himself from this serious sin. Tzarich lios chared b'nafsho. He should be very afraid. Ulai chas v'shalom niduhu b'shamayim hazeh. Maybe in heaven he's been excommunicated, which is a very serious thing. Okay, ein mashakaz b'sefer charedim le'inyan makla aviv imo, and you can look in the sefer charedim about this. So when the Torah says is cursed, the person's cursed, it means that in heaven he's been cast off, he's been excommunicated from heaven, which is very serious. V'od kama inyanim ra'im nisavivai deichet chamor shel lashon hara. And there are other very serious things that come about when a person speaks Lashon Hara. He becomes a tough person, someone who's not merciful. Hagarua, umidas hakas, he'd be an angry person, right? Sometimes we think that when someone does a sin, that sin just presents itself in a vacuum. But the Chavetz Chaim says that's not true. Someone who becomes accustomed to speak Lashon Hara, to speak evil about one another, about somebody else, he habituates himself to not being merciful, to being angry. Shu avon chamar, k'moshe hefligu chazal b'Shabbos. Right? He becomes an angry person. He's always speaking negatively about people, and that's a very serious sin. We mentioned that it's like serving an idol. Someone who's angry is like serving an idol. V'gam kama pa'amim ba'a yedezeh l'leitzanis or l'sha'ari midos raus. And also through Lashon Hara, he could come to leitzanis, which is mocking serious things and making fun of people and serious matters and spirituality. And other bad character traits. Al kain, therefore, al kol divrei hapsicha hazo shemimenu nuchal lahaven is gadol hakilkul habai de lashon hara uchilos bi'arolan watar beferish isrzeh kosel alav miyuchad v'loselech rachel ba'amecha yosem ra'kol amidos ros. Besides for all of the evil, besides for the fact that the Torah prohibited lashon hara, there are so many bad character traits that come from it. Like we spoke about at the beginning of the introduction. And with this, I'm finishing my introduction. So the Chavetz Chaim wrote this introduction to demonstrate, before he gets into the nitty-gritty of the laws of Lashon Hara, of what exactly is evil speech, and are there exceptions to this rule. He's explaining to us how serious we should be taking this, and how serious God treats the prohibition of speaking Lashon Hara. Continues the Chavetz Chaim. Va'avakish liyididi hakoresh shezos hapsicha yikra v'yachzor v'yikra. I implore you to read this introduction over and over again. Ki hi bevadai mo'ila le'inyan zeh al haba yoser min hakol. It's going to help you in the future more than anything else. Ki hi miluketes me'esa rishonim. What I've gathered here is from the Rishonim. Asher divreim kadoshim utahirim. Their words are holy and pure. Ba'aris kamar halapidim, a fire, it's like a burning fire. Ubevadai shamru es atzma mida grua hazu atachlisam. And for sure, the people that he's quoting, the Chavetz Chaim is quoting, the Rishonim, for sure, they were very careful in Lashon Hara. Right? This isn't just, the Chavetz Chaim is pointing out, this isn't just something that he wrote, and from on his own, and, decided these things on his own. The Jewish people have a tradition. We have a tradition that goes all the way back to Mount Sinai, when God spoke to the Jewish people and gave them the Torah, gave us the Torah. And what he's explaining is that everything he's explaining is from that tradition and the will of Hashem, and it's not just something he wrote willy-nilly. So he's saying not only that the people the Rishonim, the rabbis of the past who have written these holy words, they were very holy people that were careful themselves in the words of Lashon Hara, and reading their words has a tremendous power to impact someone's heart to want to do the right thing. וגם ידע הקורא שלא לקחתי es halaven ba'asen kviyayim izdamin achakarti v'darashti heitev es hataryag mitzvahs. And he says he didn't just willy-nilly come up with all of these 14 positive commandments and 17 negative commandments, but he worked very hard to find what they were. He worked very hard until God helped him. That he could find the proper words, the proper negative and positive commandments for our topic, right? He isn't attributing it to himself. He says he works hard, but it says eventually if a person works hard, then God will give him the Torah as a present, right? We have to work hard, but we shouldn't think that it comes from our own yegia, our own efforts. Everything is from Hashem. So now he's saying an interesting thing. Those who have learned Gemara find sometimes that the rabbis spoke to each other in a very sharp manner. So he says, don't be surprised by this. Sometimes one rabbi in the Talmud will say something very sharp to his friends. So how could this be? If we treat saying something negatively about our friends very seriously, how could the Amoraim in the Talmud do it? So this was already addressed by the Chavas Yair, and he says the Chavas Yair has a tshuva explaining this in depth. Besofa Sefer, and he's going to print it at the end of the book, so that will be at the end of everything. He'll explain why that's true. So he says he himself has addressed this issue, why we find in the Talmud that the rabbis spoke very harshly with each other, but he's not going to address it now, it's going to be addressed later. So we should make a siyum. We just finished the introduction to Sefer Chavetz Chaim, which is very exciting. That was to tell us, how serious the prohibition is of Lashon Harah by listing the 17 negative commandments that one violates when speaking Lashon Harah, the 14 positive commandments, and the 3 or perhaps 4 curses that a person gets, right? When someone eats, a lobster, he's only violating 1 prohibition, but here speaking Lashon Harah, you have 17 negative, 14 positive commandments, and 3 or 4 curses, how serious it is. And now we're actually starting next week, God willing, we'll be going into the actually laws of Lashon Harah, getting into the nitty-gritty of when we can't speak negative, what is considered negative speech, are there exceptions to that rule, which there are, and we can all, once we learn the laws, we can all be careful in speaking Lashon Harah, and when we learn to speak positively about one another, we can, hopefully, in that schus, in that merit, we will rejoin as a community. For those around Motzei Shabbos or Sunday morning, I will be giving a Mesilas Yesharim class, Path of the Just, it's a book about what are we here for, why are we on earth, and how do we achieve those goals. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to post them. If you want to subscribe to get the shiur email, please send me your email, and I hope everyone has a very holy, inspiring, and healthy Shabbos.